you wonder if you're going to heaven or hell. I just wonder how a man who's heard the secret can possibly still wonder.
Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. So yeah, tonight we were talking about a movie that I finally got to watch. It's called I Am Fear. I read about it a while ago and I was kind of on the fence about it. I'm not a huge war guy. I don't really like war movies for the most part. There's some, like 1917 was fantastic. Not so much for the war portion of it, but just because it was, you know, shot in one shot and stuff like that. Like there's a few movies that I like, but when it comes to like this style of movie where it involves, you know, just anything to do with war, whether it's over in Iraq or World War I, World War II, I'm not overly invested in it. And I'm not a really religious person either, right? So I don't know the background of Christianity and, you know, all the stuff going on with Allah and these terrorist groups that follow that. I don't know anything about it and I'm not going to pretend to, you know what I mean? But I just, when I was reading about this is what this movie sort of well, not sort of, it does revolve around it. So I wasn't really looking forward to seeing it, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you something, I am very glad that I saw this movie. Let me just get into it first. First of all, it's directed by Kevin Shulman. I think this is his first feature-length movie. He kind of came up doing it the right way, doing a lot of short films. And I think he did a couple TV episodes. And I think this is his first crack at feature length. It might be his first, maybe his second, but I know he's relatively new at doing feature length. But I'll tell you, I mean, this guy's got some chops on him because the pace alone in this movie, it just, I mean, it's only, I think, an hour and 24 minutes. But man, I mean, the editing in this film is great. And some of the shots he goes for are fantastic. The cast very quickly, and I mean, it's got faces we recognize right away, which was also great too. Christina Klebe was in Halloween and also Hellboy. That's where I recognized her from. Elon Mackin was from Resident Evil, The Final Chapter. Recognized his face right away. And then the big, and this guy's kind of like the main star, Ferran Tahir. He was in Iron Man, and he was also in Star Trek. And then Bill Moseley's in this too, and so is William Forsythe. William Forsythe, he's not in it a lot, you know what I mean, but he does have some speaking roles and stuff, and it's kind of nice to see him back on the screen again. And then Bill Moseley's in it, and his character is called Steve McCready, but he's like a CNN type of news anchor. He looks a spinning image of, well, not a spinning image, but he's dressed up just like Larry King. So, but anyways, the main star, Ferran Tahir plays Assad. Just very quickly, the first act, it picks up where Assad and his son are tied up. I'm thinking it's in their house. They've stolen, I think it's money and drugs from this extremist group, and they've come after them and found them. And the group is led by Joshua, and they've got them tied up. And they're going to videotape it, and they're going to cut their heads off, and they're going to start with Assad's son, who they get to first, and they do behead him. And then as they go to do Assad, he whispers something in his ear. And again, this goes back to like the religious thing that I don't really know a lot about. So he whispers something. He tells him a little story, Joshua does. And then he says, I'll whisper it in your ear, because that's how it's transferred from person to person. He said, it doesn't matter anyways, because you're going to die. So he does that, and then he whispers it in his ear, and then as they go to behead him, that's when the CIA agents bust in, led by William Forsythe and Kristen Oliver, who plays Polo, come in and then shoot these guys up, and then they're dead, right? So they save Assad, and then what they do is they bring him to the States, and they want to put him in one of these, kind of slip him into one of these extremist cells, right? Because what they've done is they've actually killed Joshua and his men, but they want to make it look like Assad did it, so they videotape him cutting Joshua's head off, right? So that he looks like he killed him, he escaped. Then they can put him in this extremist terrorist cell that's residing in the States or California. So that part's done. Okay, and then we also have the Kristen Cleave character, Sarah Brown, who is this like an extreme journalist, right? She goes behind enemy lines and she's always getting these awesome interviews and blah blah blah. So it kind of tells her story, but she's been kidnapped while she went in for one of these interviews with this extremist group. And what they're planning on doing is beheading her and her cameraman live on TV or streaming site July 4th, which is the state's Independence Day. And that's the plan, okay? But Assad is in this group, okay? And like he is going to try, I guess, because he's working for the CIA, right? Because they put them in. I know this sounds confusing, but I'm trying to do my best because this movie is fantastic and it moves at such a fast pace. I know I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but I'm actually going to stop right there, okay? Because if I tell you anything beyond halfway through the second act, then it's going to spoil the end for you, okay? And I'll tell you something, up until about halfway through this movie, and I don't want to give spoilers, or I don't want this to come out as being a spoiler, but I mean, if you've watched the trailer, you know something's going on, okay? But up until the halfway point, even a little bit farther of this movie, I thought, why is this even being considered a horror movie? You know what I mean? And I hadn't seen the trailer for it, you know what I mean, before I watched this flick. I watched the trailer after I got done watching the movie before I sat down here, and I thought, oh, I can see, that they give some stuff away in the trailer, which I really wish they didn't. Because the great thing about this movie, well, one of the great things anyways, is that, you know what I mean, they almost present it for the entirety of the movie as just being like a terrorism movie. You know what I mean? And revolving around this Assad character, and is he going to save, this journalist, Sarah Brown? That's what they lead you to believe. I really wish, and I understand they need to sell their movie and they want to get people in the seats. I get it, which is why they put the supernatural aspect into the trailer. Do you know what I mean? But God damn, it's just, I'm telling you right now, the less you know about this movie going into it, and I've said this before about other movies, the better of an experience it will be for you, because the payoff at the end, I think, in my personal opinion, was great, because I honestly didn't see it coming. Because again, I didn't research this movie at all before I sat down to watch it, and the payoff was great, because I was like, fuck, what the hell's going on here? What did I miss for the first, hour and 5 minutes of this movie to make the last 20 minutes of this movie turn into this? So, I don't know. I highly recommend this movie. To give it a rating, I would probably give it a really strong 7.5. There were some spots, as good as the end was and as cool as I thought it was, I wanted more of it. And I wish we would have got more. I wish they would have, and I know I'm going to sound like a hypocrite here because I literally just got done saying, the lead up to it was awesome. Do you know what I mean? But I wish they would have shortened that maybe just a little bit and would have given us a little more background and a little bit more of the ending. just to expand on it a bit more, because once it happens, I don't know about you guys, but when you see it, I wanted more of it. You know what I mean? And I didn't want it explained to me, but I did kind of want a little more fleshed out. So, but I mean, other than that, I mean, this movie is brilliantly shot. I mean, I always harp on the pacing of movies. The pace of this movie is fantastic. I mean, it flies by because there's so much going on and there's so much to take in. And I know for myself, anyways, this is going to definitely be a second watch, because I know there's stuff I missed in the first screening of it. So I'm definitely going to watch it again. But it's so well acted. I mean, there's so many good actors in here. It's awesome. It's a great movie. You know what I mean? I really did enjoy it. I think it heightened the experience for me because I didn't know what was going to happen at the end. And again, I know that's a spoiler, telling you that there's something going to happen at the end. But I mean, if you watch the trailer, like I said, they do give scenes of the ending in the trailer. So I mean, I don't want to say it. You know what I mean? But anyways, I recommend this movie, man. It's wow, watch it. It is fucking good. So if you are one of the few that have seen this already, let me know what you think of it, and let me know if you were, as excited walking out of this movie as I was when I did. And if you haven't seen it, go rent it, and then please come back here and let me know what you thought of it. Again, I don't like these style of movies with terrorism and stuff. It doesn't do anything for me, which is why I don't watch the news. You know what I mean? So again, I wasn't hyped to see this flick, but after watching it and the payoff, I thought it was fantastic, and I just wanted the ending to just be a little more fleshed out and a little bit longer. I wanted more of it. So I know, fat kid on a Smartie, being greedy, but that's just me. So anyways, it is called I Am Fear. I highly recommend this movie. I thought it was fantastic. Let me know what you guys think of it if you've seen it. And as always, stay scared.